Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me as always is Eric and Nathaniel. Robert's off this evening. How's it going, fellas?
Going good?
It's going.
Oh, man. I tell you what, if y'all don't come to the live stream, we just had
You'll miss our fun conversations that we have when we're trying to get things set up.
Gosh, yes. We just had
You miss out on all those you miss out on the good stuff.
It was a great 20-minute conversation about Mountain Dew. Oh, my Lord. I'm telling you.
And we're not even kidding.
No, we're not. We're not kidding at all. I am not lying. It was, and now it makes me want to go and hunt down some new Mountain Dews that I didn't know existed. But anyway,
gotta get that gamer fuel.
Yeah, really. Oh, I remember that. There was some places still had that on tap, and that stuff is terrible. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. I still got a couple Halo bottles of it in there from when it first came out.
It was like cherry, and there was the other flavor, right? Like some green flavor.
Yeah, the cherry one's still around, and I don't know how. But anyway, here we go again. We can talk about Mountain Dew all night. Well, no, it was my bad because I'm the one that was like, I've got to pour a thing of Mountain Dew before we start. Okay.
At one time, they were testing a Doritos flavored Mountain Dew at college campuses.
Why?
Ooh.
Doritos go with Mountain Dew. You don't want to have it start that way.
So nasty. It tastes like nacho cheese.
Oh, my gosh. That doesn't even sound good.
Maybe they just take like the dust from ground up Doritos and put it in.
Oh, my Lord. Why is it gritty?
Please pass me the filter so I can get it out of my teeth, straining through.
Why is it gritty when I drink it? What's wrong? Oh,
here we go. Which kind of Dorito goes best ground up in Mountain Dew? That's what we got to do tests, man.
Oh my gosh, here we go. That's it.
Live stream this.
I'm just gonna go with Cool Ranch because that's my default.
Well, yeah, there you go. I mean, everything's good with Cool Ranch, right? I mean, even Taco Bell tacos with the Cool Ranch ones are still the best.
Get Cool Ranch Doritos with ranch dressing on it.
Yeah, why not?
And then have a heart attack. It'll be great.
Inject it straight into my veins. I can get down with this.
For poor snack advice, come to the Gamers Lounge.
Yeah, really. For unhealthy choices, we are your guys. Super unhealthy choices, because, oh my gosh. But anyway, back to what we were really here for, not the Mountain Dew report, but talk about what we've been playing, what we've been doing. Well, I'll start out because I have not a lot to talk about. I've still been playing Destiny. Only maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I think I got my light up to 182. I still haven't done the max is 282. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that seems low for how long you've been playing.
Yeah, golly, my brain. Which is not bad considering I have not done the raid. I have not done a nightfall yet. I've only ran maybe 3 or 4 strikes.
You should be pretty good level for those then.
Oh yeah, I'm way over leveled for all of it, but the trouble is the guys that I usually play with are all working the night shift, so they're usually on way early in the morning, like 5 a.m., and usually I'm in bed, so it's like, I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. to play, guys. I'm sorry. I mean, I like y'all, but no, I'm sleeping. If I'm up at 5 a.m., I'm usually going to work, so. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still doing the challenge. The challenges are actually kind of nice. The one thing that I noticed is you really hit a wall when you're leveling up like that. Because what I recommend doing is probably not doing the milestones when you first hit 20, to go ahead and start doing some of the side quests and things like that, and then go back and hit the milestones, because the rewards you get from milestones are based on your power at that time that you complete that milestone. So the higher you are, your base level is, the higher rewards you're going to get from it. So I say hang on to the milestones till near the end of the week before they reset, and then go, okay, well, I've played a bunch of strikes, I played the Nightfall, I played this, I played that. So now I'll go do these milestones real quick, and then I'll get real nice gear out of it, real high-powered gear out, or high-level gear out of it. It's kind of weird. It's a whole different way of leveling that they did not do in the first one. You know, they did it off light, but it was so different. You know, you had to go do strikes, you had to do missions, you had to do this. Now that they've added this milestone thing in there, it's kind of been kind of hard to grasp, because what happens is when you get to a certain light level and it caps you out until you do those milestones, you can grind all week long. Like right now, I'm only getting 270 gear, and I've been getting that a week and a half. So once I get the milestones done, I bump my gear up a little bit. Then you got to wait till the next milestone to bump up your gear level a little bit. And so you're just doing all this stuff during the week that's like, yeah, I'm getting all this gear, it's great. I'm just breaking it all down because it's useless to me. And now they actually put the power or the light level on the on your Ingrams, so you can't hang on to your Ingrams, because if you hang on to them and you start leveling light too fast, then all of a sudden you're sitting on 270 Ingrams when your light is really 280, and you're not going to get anything but 270 out of them till you start finding 280 Ingrams. It's really weird. You know, what you used to be able to do is you used to be able to stockpile Ingrams, like during the week or something. If I was like a power level or light level 250, and I'd get a bunch of Ingrams, and then I knew we were going to run raid, then we'd go run raid, I'd get new light gear, and it'd bump me up to maybe 260 or 270 or whatever. And then you go and cash in your Ingrams then. But now they actually put the light level on the Ingrams. So like right now I'm capped at 270. So all the light Ingrams I'm going to get are 270. If I just hang on to them and then do my milestones or bump up to 280 or something like that, 290, then I trade in those Ingrams. They're still 270, so they're useless to me. So you can't hoard Ingrams.
Sounds like they're kind of doing the little tweaks here and there throughout the game that makes you not hang on to things and stockpile stuff, where you're more just like churning through things.
Yeah, and that's why they do it. They don't want you to, that's what a lot of people do. And then also what it does is it keeps you from saving up Ingrams, moving them to another character, and then boosting that character up real quick. Because you can't pass things back and forth, because it all depends on your light level once you get to a certain thing. So you essentially can't get what we always called a mule in MMOs. We'd always have a mule that we just threw everything to, or had him farm and stuff like that, and then throw it. You can't do that anymore. They essentially have blocked it. So I get why, but it took me a while to crack the 280 mark, because they kept pushing me down to 270 until I figured out I gotta go do this, I gotta go do this, and gotta go do this, and then it'll raise my light level. It's just really weird. They don't give you any information on that. They don't tell you anything like that. You just kind of got to figure it out on your own, or talk with people, or go online and look up.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a wiki at this point.
Oh yeah,
Or 12.
Or 12. Yeah, but I try not to look at the wiki. But sometimes when you hit a wall, you just have to do what you have to do.
I mean, at that point, you're literally just grinding gear. Why not look at the wiki?
Yeah, well, I was still in that mentality. Well, no, I was still in that mentality of Destiny 1. So I thought what I was doing was right. And I wasted maybe 7 hours of game time because I wasn't playing it. I was playing it Destiny 1, not the new way. And I had no idea, because I just didn't know. Because it really didn't explain that. It just kind of says, here you go, you got this and this and this and this and this to do, go have fun. And all they tell you is, you don't have to do raids, you don't have to do this to get gear. Well, you don't have to, but it kind of helps a little bit.
I wonder if someone who did not play Destiny 1 would have the same problem, or if they just naturally kind of go the right way.
Probably just naturally go the right way, I would think. I don't know. I really haven't talked to anybody.
Either that, or they just wouldn't know any other way, so they just have to stumble in it one way or another.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's just weird just wrapping your head around it. A new way of thinking, or a new way of playing, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I didn't know, so I wasted a bunch of time and Ingrams and
Yeah, but you still
Now
got to
you gotta do
shoot
that more.
things.
Yeah, I still got to shoot things, so it's no big
You
deal.
got to shoot things.
The only other thing I played a little bit of the Super NES Classic Friday just to check it out. I got mine in the mail. How did
You
yours
get to Star Fox 2.
No, you have to. The way you get to Star Fox
You have to
2
do
is
Star
you have
Fox
to.
1's
Yeah, you
first
have to
level, right?
first level of Star Fox 1, and I hadn't had time to sit down and do it yet. So, unfortunately, I had so much going on this weekend that it was just impossible to even sit down and play anything. But
Giant Bomb people did a big quick look of it, and I skimmed through the video. I was like, it sure looks like Super Nintendo games.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's what's funny is I had a lot of lag on my TVs here with the NES Classic. I don't have that with the Super NES Classic, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's maybe I've finally adjusted something on the TV to get it to work right, or I don't think I have, but you know, I had terrible lag on the 4K TV upstairs. It was bad. But that was the first place I tried it, and it worked just fine. I mean, it absolutely worked just fine. I didn't have any lag at all or anything. So I don't know if maybe over the past year I've tweaked some settings for the regular TV and just didn't realize that it would also correct lag with the video games or what. But it's it's really neat. It looks everything looks beautiful in HDMI on and it's not 1080, I think it's 720 in high definition anyway. Looks really clean and crisp.
It's like, I don't think it's going to be 4K.
No, it's not going to be 4K.
Even if it was, it doesn't matter. You'd still be scaling pixels.
Oh yeah, you'd still be scaled. But I mean, the colors just look absolutely good. They look just as good as they do on my RGB, RGB television. So I'm very impressed with it. They updated my 8-bit do retro receiver for the NES Classic, so it'll work on that. So I can use my wireless Super Nintendo controller on it, because that's good. Because I didn't even unwrap the controllers. I'm like, I just leave them in there. I'd rather use the wireless thing anyway, and not set right up on the TV.
Well, the cords are longer this time, but they're still not super long.
Yeah, they're not long enough for my living room because I set probably 15 feet from the TV, so you're going to have a long cord for me to...
There's also the fact that they're just cords at all, and we haven't had that in a long time, so going back to that, you're like, oh, cords.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard. But, I already had all the stuff for the wireless anyway, so it's like, Yeah. But I did unwrap them enough to kind of touch them and play with them for a minute just to see, and they feel just like the originals. And I actually saw a breakdown, I retweeted it on Twitter, where somebody took apart the original and took apart the classic controllers, and they set them side by side so you could see, and they look almost identical to the way they're built. So it's no wonder they sound good.
It's like a couple of parts has like a slightly different color plastic on the inside, but the layout's pretty much the same.
Yeah, and that's really good because it works really well. So if it's not broke, why fix it even after 20 years? Why not?
Keep using the same thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. So, Eric, you got yours from Best Buy, right?
Yeah.
Did you?
Has a nice fat Best Buy sticker on it.
Did you get? Oh, really? Wow.
Because it was in-store pickup.
Oh, you did in-store pickup. Okay. I had them ship it to the house.
I had them ship my other one to my house.
Gotcha.
I didn't want to buy two under the same account, so one for me and one for guest account under my wife's name, which got shipped to the house, which arrived fine, well packed.
Mine was well packed, but it was in a box the size of the NES Classic Edition box.
Yeah.
And what was bad is one side of that box got dented, so when I opened it up, the NES Classic box was dented because it was exactly snug fit, which, I mean, I get their reasoning behind that. It's like, it's perfect, but I'm like, man, couldn't you just send it in a box a little bigger with some air packets around it or something?
Yeah, why can't you pack it, just...
Should have ordered it from Amazon, where they put it in like 3 sizes too big sometimes. You're like, wait, why did you do that? There's not a reason.
Exactly. And I wanted to order it from Amazon, but I did not catch them when they were available on Amazon. That was what was the bad thing was. But, I mean, it sounded like everybody that wanted one got one and got it pretty easily, because it sounds like Walmart's had tons of them. Target had tons of them.
Yeah.
GameStop had tons of them. I mean, they're all sold out now, but I mean, at the time there was 50, 60 at some stores at one time, which was 10 times the amount, or 20, 50, 100 times the amount they had last time.
If they can keep them coming back, then I'm sure it'll probably be better this time. Just like they say, we'll see. But...
Yeah.
My friend's experiences at Target were good. It was, go up, get a ticket. There's plenty available. You don't want to show up like a half an hour before the store opened, maybe 45 minutes. Great. GameStop, same sort of thing. Like I drove by one and it looked like people were just lining up right before the store opened. Not too bad. Best Buy here, though. Yeah. I drove by and I looked and I stopped and I got out and asked, a couple questions. Yeah. So what they're doing here is, I thought I had read online that you show up, they give you a ticket, and then you can come back after 10, right?
Yeah.
Nope. At our Best Buy, they were making people stay. So people were in line at like 6:30. They're making them stand the whole time until 10.
What?
Well, yeah, so I was like, oh, this sucks. So
That's silly.
I watched that. I went back one more time. I had took care of some errands on the way back. Went back by Best Buy, and I looked, and the line had definitely gotten smaller, about 9:30. So people were deciding it's not worth it.
Well, yeah, that's just silly. I mean, when I went over to get a pre-order for the Switch back in March, or back in January, whenever it was, February, I go in and, they come out and they give us a ticket and said, go sit in your car. It's cold, come back. You're number one. Don't worry about it. You got a ticket. That just seems silly to do that to somebody, but, whatever. I mean, everybody's going to do different things, so, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if a lot of that depends on, the chain, but also maybe just store manager by store manager, how they want to handle it.
Yeah, that could be. That could very well be. It would not surprise me at all that it's not a store-by-store basis thing.
Yeah, it was just weird. Whatever.
Yeah, very strange.
But, don't forget, if you've got, like, smaller stores, like, if you got a Shopko, or you got a Fred Meyer, Pacific Northwest chain, or something a little bit, maybe a store that's not quite, so front and center, or even Toys R Us. I know we have a local Toys R Us, and I knew a few people that were going there. They weren't taking pre-orders, but I'm sure they have plenty in stock.
Yeah.
And the rumor is more going to be showing up next week, so,
Oh, yeah, I'm
be
sure.
patient, people.
Yeah.
And they said there were
either that, or it could be
more.
like me, where if I wanted to, I could run around to, like, a bunch of different Targets or Walmarts or everything that's all in the area.
Yeah. Well,
probably find it in one of them.
What was funny was Friday afternoon, when I got done with a bunch of stuff I was doing, I sat down to take a break, and I went, you know what, I'm just going to pull up the GameStop app and just see if any of the stores around here still have the classics in stock. And this was 3, 4 o'clock, and I checked it, and some of them still said they had them in stock, and you could hold for pickup over the app. Of course, they're probably going now, but I mean, this was 3 or 4 in the afternoon on Friday, so launch day, so...
I mean, I know that when they went live at midnight on GameStop's app and stuff, everything crashed, ThinkGeek went down. I did find that out at my local Walmart, like I had mentioned on Twitter. Yeah, 9 p.m. the night before, they were selling them. People had been in line for like 2 or 3 hours, and I was like, I guess if you really want one, that you go stay in line. But,
yeah, I mean, and I've done that a couple times. Not like maybe 3 hours is the longest I've stood in the line. I think when I got a 360. And they were hard to get. I went and stood in line New Year's Eve.
People waited a long line for Wii's.
I didn't wait in line for Wii. I just walked into the Circuit City and went, tell me a store around here that has one, and they said this one does, and I paid for it there.
What's
and
a
then
Circuit
drove to the
City,
store.
John?
I used to work at Circuit City.
Whoa,
Yeah, look at me. I used to work at Circuit City. Wow, yeah.
That was interesting. I like
Worked
shopping
at CompUSA, too. I worked at a lot. I worked at Kmart. I've worked at a lot of stores that are not around anymore.
Kmart's still around. It's dying a slow death.
It's not around here anymore. The Kmart that I worked at last year has finally closed down. They closed it down a couple months ago. Yeah. So
did they have massive clearance in there? And
yes. Well, they did, but I never went over there because it was just nothing but junk anyway. So they took the electronics department out before I started working there. They had no electronics, no TVs, no video games, no movies, no nothing. They took all that stuff out. So.
And they didn't even have electronics in the cash registers.
Barely. They barely did. But okay, go ahead. And I know Nathaniel's dying to talk about it. I'm dying to hear about it. I want to hear about this golf story game that he was showing us before we started recording. I got to know about it.
Let's see. I heard about it probably not long after one of the directs somewhere in the summer. It was in one of their kind of like montagey things. that they show up, and then like there were people figuring out about it, and there's a couple podcasts that I listened to that were like following it, like yeah. So I knew that it was coming out this week. And I was like, oh, it's only $15. I'll pick it up. It looks awesome. So yeah, this golf story, I've been playing it quite a bit since I picked it up. It's really, really fun. So it's kind of like an old school 16-bit RPG, except instead of having combat, you have golf stuff. So you have all the wandering around sort of story things where you can talk to NPCs. You might see some with like a speech bubble, and if you talk to them, they might have like a challenge for you, or it might be the one that's for your next like story mission or whatever.
Okay.
But at any time you can drop a ball, unless you're in the world map, you can drop a ball and just tee off, hit the ball somewhere. And some of that you have actual like little weird hidden puzzle things. So when you first walk onto sort of the golf course area, right from the bottom, they teach you this by like, there's some guy there and it's like, hey, there's a button over there, but I can't hit it because it's surrounded by trees. So if you hit the golf ball into it, you hit it, and it lights up this thing somewhere else on the map, and you have to find some other buttons, and then it's all this little stuff. But I don't know, it's really, really neat. The golf mechanics are about like what you would expect from just a full-on golf game. You like hit the button and then the meter goes, and it comes. You hit it once to stop where the power is, and you hit it once again at the bottom of the meter to see how accurate you hit the ball, and then it like arcs through the air. But it's a 2D pixel game instead of a full-on 3D golfing game like a modern game. So, but it's got so much charm. It's such a really funny game. I've laughed out loud so much, and there's no voice acting or anything whatsoever. It's always just like text and speech bubbles, and it's still making me laugh a lot because they make a lot of use of the rumble within the Switch or your controller if you're playing it on on your screen. But I've been playing it handheld mostly because it works really well that way. But it has, every time somebody says something, they play with animating the bubble itself around, and then they have text size and stuff that changes to indicate like how soft they're talking or if they're shouting at you. Or like my favorite one is when someone's confused, the speech bubble turns sideways, kind of like they're going, huh? But since they can't actually do that with detail with the characters, they're doing all this stuff with the speech bubbles. And it actually works really well. It's quite a lot of fun. And so far I've been to 2 different golf course areas, and based on the world map, I know of at least 4 more, and then there's a broken bridge that I can go across that probably has some more eventually. So I think I remember reading in its description in the eShop that there's like 8 different areas, I think. But it's all like, you start the game, you're like a kid and you're playing golf with your dad, and you're like, hey, could I ever be pro? And all this, some weird stuff, and that's all the tutorial. And then it goes, it's like 20 years later. It's so kind of tongue-in-cheek, over the top at some points. There's all this weird thing early on where it's seems like the game is obsessed with geese, because there's like, when you're learning to putt, there's like the like final thing for that little part of the tutorial. There's a bunch of geese running around the screen. You have to time it so that you hit the ball when they're not running in front of you. It's really, really goofy, but it's a lot of fun. There's also like, they throw disc golf in there. There's a hidden mini golf course you can find. There's a driving range with stuff. There's like these moles that are in the ground that if you hit the ball too close to them, they'll like grab your ball and throw it underground. There's the second area of the game is all populated by like cavemen people who actually talk that way. It's a really cool game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the pictures here on the Nintendo side of it. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's just like they've somehow managed to pack oodles of personality in there. It's just like, you could tell the people who made the game just really had a lot of fun, and this was kind of a passion project for sure.
Electromagnet or Electromastro said in the chat, he wanted to know, said, so it's like Mario Golf Advanced Tour on the GBA, says, because the game was developed by Camelot Software Planning, who developed the Shining Force and Golden Sun games.
I do not know if it's like that or not, because I never played that.
Oh, so okay. Well,
I don't know.
Thought maybe you would.
Otherwise, I would tell you.
I played it, but I haven't played this. So.
But yeah, I've had equal time of just playing golf and running around doing some story stuff, looking for puzzles. So you have things where you're actually playing on holes. But then there's also a, hey, can you hit this ball here and do it, accurately, while going past a tree or something, like little one-off challenges like that, or that you can find too. And you like have stats that you level up. You level up like your power, and then you have 4 other stats that every time, like every 2 or 3 times you up your power, they go down. So you're trying to keep those in the sort of center. So it's how much you're, slice the ball, how much that like spin you have and stuff. That's kind of like the base stat on top of how well you're actually hitting the buttons. So. But yeah, it's not. I don't know about the Mario Golf. I'm assuming Mario Golf game isn't super serious either. But yeah, this isn't like serious type of game. It's very goofy, comedic, kind of a
tongue-in-cheek.
So it's lighthearted.
Yeah, tongue-in-cheek story. Yeah, it's not like
play.
Oh yeah, easy. It's just I've had a lot of fun with it. I haven't
serious.
Probably put like 5 or 6 hours into it since I got it on Thursday. So
cool. All right, you've talked me into it. I'm gonna buy
it. It's $15, and after playing it, I'd say it was easily worth at least twice that, if not even a little bit more. It's really, really good.
Is it good for short bursts of gaming too as well?
Yeah, you could play it in just a little bit if you wanted. Easy. You could be wandering around like, oh, I want to do just the next little story thing. I want to play like all of these holes. Like so far all the courses that I played, if I was playing through all the holes, it would take I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes, depending on how good you are, maybe. Yeah. But if you're just running around doing, one-off little things, then you could play for like 5 or 10 minutes and be done.
Yeah, and that's what Electric said you could go outside the courses and interact with other people, kind of like an RPG, and that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, that sounds awesome. I'm going to, as soon as we get done here, I'm going to go buy it.
There's all sorts of little hidden things that you can find, little stuff that I guess you can count as side quests. I'm in the middle of helping the greenskeeper to clean up my home course, I guess.
Is his name Willie?
No, I don't even think he has a name other than he's the greenskeeper. But we ended up like all the moles that are like coming up around the golf course, where they come from. So we like put trackers in all my golf balls, and I fed a bunch of golf balls to all the moles, and then we tracked them in the middle of the night to some like part of the course that apparently has some people who are bringing skeletons to life and wanted eyeballs, but the moles are bringing them golf balls. Like that's the kind of story that you can look forward to in this game. It's definitely goofy.
I'm down with that then. That's cool. That sounds cool. Sounds really, really
But
cool.
Yeah, even though it's all just like text and speech bubbles, the way they time them has got really great comedic timing, so it's made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm going to definitely check it out. $15, that's not bad for...
it's easy, quick buy. If you're like $15 is nothing.
Yeah, cool. Well, what else you been playing? Anything else besides that?
Yeah, I've been playing quite a bit more Witcher 3 Blood and Wine. I don't know how close I am to the end. I'm getting close to...
It's decent. It's long, man. I think
it's pretty long.
I'd say 15 to 10 to 10 to 15. It's been a while since I played it.
I mean, I've played more than that already on just Blood and Wine, because I'm running around doing all the little question marks that you see on the map and just exploring and doing every side quest, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'll go back and do a story quest now. How I play every RPG.
Right.
So I've got who knows how much further in the story, but I've gotten quite a bit into it. Let's see, what was the last thing I just did in the story? I think I just did we like this old buddy of mine that I'm guessing would have been more I would have known more if I'd finished the Witcher books by now, because it's not someone who'd been in the games, so it must be someone from one of the Witcher books. But he shows up, and then you're trying to brew a potion so you can track the monster that you're hunting, and then do some other stuff. That's kind of where I'm at, a little bit past that in the story, but mostly it's just, hey, wandering around finding all these people that need help in their vineyards and all that. Yeah. Like, oh, there's a monster over there, can you kill it? Yes, I guess so.
I got nothing else to do. That's what I'm here for, is to kill it.
You're gonna pay me money? All right, I'll go kill it.
I'll cut off its limbs, kill it. Yeah.
Oh, man, the map is so great because the way it's laid out is just, you always have a great view no matter where you're at on it, and you can unless there's something like a hill in between, you can almost always see like the big castle, like the palace or whatever that's sort of on the corner of the map. It's really, really cool. Cool. I played a little bit more. Yeah, I played a little bit more Mario and Rabbids. Not a whole lot. I'm right at the beginning of World 3. Game's still cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, not much more to say about it. I guess it's just I've been playing a little bit of it.
I haven't played a ton of it, so I haven't had time.
Yeah.
Between working and then the car broke down, and we had to buy a new car, and it's just it's been a crazy week, crazy 2 weeks. So
I just got regular Peach as a party member that I can
oh,
call
that's
on.
cool. I didn't even know if she was a regular member. It could be a regular member of the party or not. So
Yeah, she's kind of midway through the unlocks of people that you get. So you get her right
gotcha.
towards the end of World 2.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't played with her a lot, but she just showed up. She had some cool different abilities that's different than anybody else so far. So I'm gonna have to experiment a little bit to see if I want to keep my current party makeup or if I want to switch it up.
Yeah, cool.
And then let's see. Oh yeah, I got a little game called Seasons After Fall because I had like $10 in credit still on my PlayStation account, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's one that's been on my Steam wish list, but I'll buy it here. Why not? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's a little. Looking at it, I was thinking of Ori and the Blind Forest.
Oh, okay.
It's not that.
Oh.
It's it's kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest if it were the kids edition.
Okay.
Because there's no enemies. It's not so that's all out, and the platforming is very simple.
Yeah.
So, but I got it mostly for the art style, which I kind of say it's kind of like a painted storybook or something. It's sort of the thing. You're playing a little fox character, or you're actually playing a little like thing that's possessing the fox, but whatever. You're playing the fox. And you're running around, jumping around, trying to get these little powers based on all the seasons. So once you get them all, you use like a little button or the right stick to flip between winter, summer, spring, fall, and each season has sort of a different effect on certain things in the environment. So if you're in springtime, it's raining, so there's these things that will gather rain that when you hit this little thing, it'll spit out rain. Or there's other things that if it's winter, the same thing will spit out snow and make a big pile of snow that you can jump on to get to a higher spot. There's other little things that that will only work in a certain season. So the way they combine those for you to get around the environment is kind of where I guess it's a little bit of a puzzle game that way too, but nothing very complicated.
Yeah. Ryan reviewed this on the site for us on the Xbox One. I knew it sounded familiar, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was.
I can't remember where it came first, but it's been pretty much everywhere since then. So, but yeah, it's a cool little game. It's mostly simple. There's one part later on that's a lot more complicated, mostly because you have to find the hints to it. It's like a little matching puzzle thing where you have these symbols that you're guiding these. I think they're cicadas, but they basically look like fireflies or something. They glow a little bit.
Yeah.
And you have them chained. There's like 6 of them, and there's these little objects that when you have like a little button for your fox that he barks or whatever, and that's how you interact with certain things. And so it'll lock them in there, and you're basically connecting them in different patterns. Maybe like a light bright or something, except with lines in between. And so you have to do them in certain ways. And in the environment, there's different places to find the clues for how you're supposed to put them together. But there was one that I couldn't find, and I finally just gave up. I'm like, forget this. I know how I'm supposed to do it. I just don't want to find the one little thing that's specifically telling me this in the game. It's like, I know what shape. I just need to know what color the lines are supposed to be. Because each season changes what color of line is in between. Well, and sort of the shape of them, too. So I was like, I've done this 3 times. I just need to do it the 4th one for this shape. I already know. I'm going to look it up because it's just like, ugh, forget that. And then by Googling it, I found out most people are like that because they're like, this puzzle has been searched for many, many times.
Golly. I hate stuff.
But yeah, it's not that it's bad. It's just I have no clue where the other one was. And
right.
I was like, I've gone through all these rooms at least 4 or 5 times. And I was like, I'm fine. I will
One
look
second.
it up. I've put my time in, so I'm okay with looking it up on Google on a little guide, which was a little bit weird because there's not that many easy to find guides on it. It was kind of like search for a specific thing and maybe you could find a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you could go to IGN and find the guide because they haven't made one yet.
Yeah.
It's such a small game.
The art style looks really, really good.
It's gorgeous on big screen. On my big screen TV and stuff is like, yes.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I remember when we got the code for it. Now that I went back and when I Googled it, I was like, this really sounds familiar, but why can't I place it? And then I got to looking at it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I remember this game now because it looks really, really cool, and I really want to play it too.
It's one of those games that looks all right in screenshots, but it looks like maybe, okay, this was painted in Photoshop or some little thing, and you can tell it's not detailed because it's just the art style, but when it's in motion, it looks a lot better, especially when you're flicking back and forth between all the different seasons because the colors completely change how it looks. So winter is all night, lots and lots of blues and stuff. Fall is very oranges and reds. Spring has got a lot of kind of some greens, but also some pinks and other things in there. Then you've got like summer that's a lot more deep, bright, vibrant green. And if you're flicking back and forth due to all these different things, because like, okay, if I do this, I activate it in summer, it'll extend so I can go and jump over here, but then I need it to go to fall so that this little vent thing will blow air, so it'll lift this thing up so I can jump on it. It's really fun.
But if you look at the Metacritic, it's 64%, but you go on Steam, and out of 666 reviews, that thing's got 4.5 stars. So you know it's a good game.
The only thing I have a little bit of frustration with it, and it's not that big a deal because it's not too precise in the platforming. It's just like it needs a little bit more direct air control, I think. Yeah. Because there's sometimes, and then every once in a while, it won't jump when I hit the button, and I ran off the edge of a thing because I just hit the button too light or something. I guess, but just most of the time it's all right and it's fine, and it's a little annoying because you get more height and distance if you're running than if you do from a dead standstill. So every once in a while it gets to where you're fighting the controls just a little bit, but it's nothing that you can't just go back around and try it again really quickly. And it's not like Ori and the Blind Forest, where that game was super precise. The controls in that game are really, really great, but it needs it because there's some points that you have to be really, pinpoint accurate to do all the jumping around in that game.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
So yeah, it's just kind of art style wise is what sort of drove the comparison there for me, I think, originally, and that's what got me interested in this one. I was like, oh, that kind of looks sort of like this, not exactly. Yeah. But there's way less happening in Seasons After Fall. It's very much more of a puzzly type game than what Ori was, which is more of a Metroidvania style platformer. Yeah. And it'll probably because it has enemies, and this game does not, even though it kind of tries to trick you because there's these voices talking to you throughout the game for like the story part stuff, and there's a bunch of times where it says "be careful" and "oh no, watch out," and stuff like that. Where I'm like, but there's no enemies in this game, and I've already gone through 3 of these areas, and I know that you're not going to like suddenly attack me, so all right, I'll be careful.
All right, thanks a lot. I mean, plus Ori was just so hard. Ori was really, really hard.
Oh yeah, it had some pretty hard spikes in that game for sure.
Yeah, so
I can't wait to see what they do with the sequel.
Yeah, I can't either. When's that come out? Is it soon, or is it next year?
It's going to be a little while because they just put like a teaser trailer out for it E3 this year.
I remember seeing something about it, but I couldn't remember if it had a date on it or anything like that.
No date that I remember, but I mean, it could be something where they're just teasing it. It still could come out at some point next year, but we just don't know yet.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember. So, no, here's Eric. He's back. Okay. I was going to say, well, we can just go on to the news till Eric comes back, but he's back now.
We can talk about some other random stuff.
Yeah. We can talk more about Mountain Dew. We were going to talk more about Mountain Dew. So.
We know we can do that.
There's so many flavors.
All right. So what have you been playing?
I'll make it fast. We've had a lot of company recently in town, so I haven't had very much time to really game very much. So I've been playing a lot of Pokemon X because it's easy to play on 3DS.
Yeah.
It's always by the in the nightstand. So I finished Life is Strange Before the Storm, the first episode. That was pretty cool. I was actually really close to the end. I should have just finished it when I was first playing it, but I didn't know that until I was like, 20 minutes left. I'm looking forward to the next episode. It's definitely a different style of adventure game than like Telltale.
Yeah,
but I reviewed it.
Did you play you played the original one, right?
Nope, I have it though. PlayStation Plus. I just
never played the original. Oh wow.
So this is like the first time. So I had to like read a little bit. I was like, okay, I want to find a little bit about these characters.
Well, it's a prequel, so you don't have to have played the first game. But I'm betting if you have played the original Life is Strange, the emotional attachments will be way more than if you're just starting
And
before the storm.
that's where I was going with that. I was wondering, well, if you played the first one, what do you think of, this and that and that?
Yeah.
But if you haven't played
Uh-huh.
it,
And you're like, wait a minute, who? What?
yeah.
On a good note, though, you won't have any hangups on all but I think one of the voice actors being completely different. Maybe actually it is all of them. Mostly Ashley Birch, who plays Chloe, it would be the main one. But if you had played the first ones, or semi recently, her character's parents are also in Before the Storm, and they are all different voices just because of all the voice actor strike stuff. So it'd just be a little bit jarring, I think, at first for me. Once I finally get around to playing this, if I do, they'll be like, "Wait, that doesn't sound right."
Yeah.
The one I've heard the most of is apparently her dad in this one, or her stepdad, is completely different sounding.
I'm going to play it. I haven't bought it yet. I'm definitely going to pick it up because I did like the first one really, really well. So.
Oh man, I love Life is Strange. Now, I think this one I'll play it, but I'll wait like most ones until it's got all of the episodes out. There's like one left, and it's probably close to coming out. That's usually
it's
when I
not
play these kinds of games.
pricey. I thought it was pretty reasonable.
Yeah, because I think this one's 3 instead of 5 episodes like the first one.
Oh, is it? Okay. See, I wasn't even really sure.
Yeah.
So.
And the next one's probably going to be coming out this month if they're able to hit their schedule.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because they were saying, I think it was like, their goal was like 6 weeks or something in between.
Was it? Okay.
Something like that. And this came out into August, so.
Well, yeah, then that would be about
It's getting
right.
close.
Yeah.
We'll see if they can do it.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. One other thing I played is 007 Bloodstone. I don't know if either of you play this for PS3, and the only reason I picked it up recently, it's like $5 at GameStop, is in one of Metal Jesus Rocks videos, he was talking about like semi-hidden gems on the PS3, and I'm like, oh yeah, I had heard something about this game. I should try it. It's pretty cool. It's made by Bizarre. They don't exist anymore.
Right.
But they had made, Blur and Project Gotham Racing.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to think of. It sounds like
The
driving
driving
the ones that do
elements
driving stuff.
are amazing. It's pretty much a cover-based shooter as Bond, third person, and then there's a Daniel Craig Bond, and then there's tons of driving and stuff. It's entertaining. All the voice all the actors that are in the movies are there. They lend their voices and likeness, so it's pretty cool. I don't know why I picked it up. Sometimes, randomly you're like, oh, I haven't played this.
Sometimes you do that. I do that with with retro games. I did that this weekend. I picked up like 4 games, and 2 of them I'd never heard of before. I just picked them up because I had never heard of them before. So
There was a Kirby there.
Yeah, I didn't have Kirby, so I had to have Kirby. So
that game's not that expensive, right?
Nah, I think it's $15-$20 at the most.
Yeah, it's pretty common.
Yeah, it's not a hard game to find. It's just one that I just never really picked up. Usually around here you see it in lots of games. Somebody selling 30 games and there's a Kirby in there. So,
right. Do I need 30? Do I need 30 of these games and 15 of them are duplicates and aren't,
No. 2 or 3, fine. The 40-50, I'm done with the 40-50 for a while. That was crazy because at one point I had like 45-50 spare games sitting around here, and a buddy was going to buy them all, and they just sat in a box for a month and a half. I was just like, no, I can't. It's got to go. Don't want it sitting around. But yeah, I've heard of Bloodstone, but I'd never played it. But it's cool.
No, it's cool. I highly recommend it. It's cheap. One of the other cheap games I picked up, a couple months ago was the Splatterhouse game for PS3 because you can unlock, Splatterhouse 1, 2, 3, and the arcade game. And supposedly the emulation's pretty good, but that game's not very much fun.
Yeah.
Got like a couple hours into it, and it's the controls suck and not fun. So, but yeah, that's all I've been playing. I did. Cool. Yeah. So anyway. What are we up to for news?
Oh, okay. I thought you had something else to say.
Nah, I got nothing else. Nothing interesting.
I got nothing. All right, we got a few news stories to hit real quick. Nothing really big or long. The Wii Shop channel will close in 2019. This is on the original Wii. The Wii eShop will close January 31st, 2019 at 3 p.m. Anything you've already purchased will be re-downloadable, but at a later date, is what they say. So, I don't have a whole lot.
That's not what it says that I thought. I thought it said that it will be re-downloadable, but at a later date, that will also go away.
Well, that could be too. I didn't
thought
see
that's what it said. Let me reread it.
Reread it there for me real quick. I didn't catch that part of it. Maybe I just skimmed over it too quick. I don't have a lot.
Yeah, and it's until a later date is what it says here for the
Okay.
like little tagline. Maybe that's what you got messed up going down the article itself.
Shutting down.
You'll no longer be able to add Wii points as of a certain time, and
How is anybody still adding Wii points? I haven't.
but yeah, I mean,
Only with the cards.
it's still like a year and a half away until it finally closes, and it's not till the end of March of 2018 that you can't add Wii points. So if there's any stuff you want to buy, you have several months to do so if you have a Wii still that you're buying things. But yeah, after that, if
Buy
you've
WiiWare
already
stuff,
purchased
maybe.
things, you can transfer stuff from Wii to Wii U, stuff like
Right.
that will still be available after they close the channel, but at some point they will close that down as well.
Yeah. The only thing that I have on my Wii from the Wii U shop that's not on my Wii or from the Wii shop that's not on my Wii U is like the Genesis and the TurboGrafx games that I bought on there. They never brought those over to Wii U for some reason. Other than that, I think everything that I had on the Wii transferred over. I don't think I have anything on there except a few Genesis games or something. But I'll be honest with you, I haven't had my Wii out of the box in like 4 years, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even remember what's on mine, and I can't check because it doesn't boot up.
Oh,
It turns on and power connects, but it doesn't like boot up to the actual menu or anything.
that's weird.
So either there's no video output, but it seems like there is. Could be wrong, but I don't know. Or it's just not booting for some reason. But I'm not I don't care.
Well,
I'm not using it. I just was like curious one day. I was like, hey, does this work?
yeah.
No, it doesn't. Oh well.
Plus, I have mine soft modded anyway, so if there's really something that I want on my Wii, then I guess I could throw it on there. But no. I mean, I'm sure there's probably still a lot of people out there that use their Wii. Maybe I don't know. Not me though. But if you do use your Wii and you buy a lot of Virtual Console games, you got a little over a year to nip that in the bud and move on to the Wii U.
Or not.
Or not.
Or not.
Did you guys watch the Red Dead 2 Redemption trailer? Or the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer?
Yep.
Did that thing not look really, really good? And when I say good, I mean the graphics of it look good. I figured that was running on a PlayStation Pro or an Xbox One X. That is not. That is running on the base model systems.
Yeah, but we're not really seeing just straight gameplay
No,
yet.
no,
Which
I'm
is
just
a little bit lower, but we're seeing all the like cutscene quality models.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. That cutscene quality models
really good.
look really good. Yeah.
Man, if they can maintain that up there and also just like the open world gameplay looks close to that, it'll be like, ooh, man.
Yeah.
That'll be one of the best looking games definitely one of the best open world looking games. We still haven't seen how well that looks, but yeah, this trailer was really cool.
And it is a prequel. It's not a sequel
I watched a few breakdown things of this, and there's people predicting that it is a prequel and a sequel.
I could see that. I could totally
where it
see
will
that.
have different time
periods.
periods.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Which I could see some people, with the way the first one played with time a little bit, like the first game, I forget however many years it's supposed to sort of span, but yeah, you could do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes, and Spinner, there was, even before I ever saw anything about the game, when they just said Red Dead Redemption 2, it was already a day one purchase for me.
Oh, yeah.
I loved the first one so much. It hit at just the right time. I was on vacation. Literally, I bought it and played it and beat it in a week's time. I 100% completed that thing in a week's time because I had nothing else to do. I was on vacation. It was, I want to say it was January or February. It was cold. I remember that. That's all I remember when the first one came out.
It can't be cold if you got it because it came out in May.
Did it come out in May?
Yeah.
I thought it came out. It seemed like it came out it came out in the winter.
Nope.
The first
it
one.
came out in May, and there was a couple of other games that also came out in May. Like, was it? No, it wasn't. Split Second, or I don't know. There's a couple there's a racing game and something else that were supposed to do well, and they didn't because Red Dead was just selling so much. I played that game for months after it came out because I was playing online.
Oh, yeah.
Wondering how all the online stuff and just trying to get every single, thing in the single player collectibles and all that stuff. I played the crap out of the game. It's easily my favorite Rockstar game.
Mm-hmm. Mine too. So yeah, I can't wait for this.
And
one
my
to come
second favorite is Bully, so that tells you something.
And I've never played Bully. I thought about getting it for the Wii, or maybe just digging
you
up
need
a
to play it. It's
copy.
pretty good.
I would kind of want to play Bully again. It wouldn't hold up gameplay-wise, except maybe the bicycles, but I definitely need to start listening to the soundtrack.
Controls in the Wii version.
The music in Bully is great.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption's music is great, too. Yeah. That's something Rockstar usually does pretty well with, is the music in their games.
Yeah, well, and this one says it's going to be released in spring of 2018. I hope so, but I mean, if it gets delayed again, I'm not going to be heartbroken about it.
I'm kind of torn because they still haven't said whether it'll be on PC or not, and I want it to be because I would rather play it there. But if it's only going to be console, and then they finally say, yeah, it'll be on PC a year later, then I'll have to get it on console. There's no way I could wait.
Yeah, I couldn't wait either, but it would be a good excuse to go back and play it again.
True. Very, very true. And I would play it. If it's anything like the first Red Dead Redemption, then I will definitely play a lot of it. I would buy it again.
I even started playing Red Dead Redemption again when it became backwards compatible on Xbox One.
Man, and I think
just because,
I never finished the Undead Nightmare stuff. I got pretty close, but I never finished it.
Yeah,
I thought about going back and picking it up again.
Yeah, it's
oh man, the Undead Nightmare DLC was worth it.
It is cool. It's so fun.
Just for it's all good, but just for the stupid racist Herbert Moon shopkeeper NPC's death in that was so way over the top zombie movie kill. That was just wow. They were definitely commenting on all of the complaints that people had about that NPC and how racist he was.
Yeah.
But they're like, all right, well, we'll just give him a horrible death in the DLC then.
Yeah, and it was great.
Yeah. I really, really want this to be as good. It definitely looks pretty, which is one thing, but I want to see what the gameplay is going to be.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm sure they'll start cranking more and more out as it gets closer.
Yeah, once we hit January, anytime between there and the next, couple months, we'll probably get a lot more info then. We probably won't hear any more till the end of the year.
If you're looking to play the original or play the one on PS3 or 360, you've never played it, this is more of an audience heads up than anything, is you should probably think about getting it, because I think when the new one comes out, the price for that is going to probably go up a little bit.
It might.
Sitting around between $15 and $20 right now is a heck of a good deal.
Yeah, and that's what it's been setting at for a while. I mean, I think the digital version on Xbox One, you can get the complete thing for $20 or $25, something like that. And they put it on sale.
If I get the digital version on PSN, I wonder if my save will transfer over.
Well, no.
Let's say no.
Let's see. I have it.
Let's play optimistic.
I think I have it digitally on PS3. I have a physical on 360, and then I use it on the disc on her. I don't know how I got it. I don't know. I've got it on about everything that you can have.
I have 36 copies.
Pretty much.
I was excited that the trailer had a bit where he has a bow and arrow. So I'm like, if we get a bow and arrow in this game too, they'll be like, yeah, all right. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I'm so down with that.
The first game had a lot of different, pistols and rifles and things, but it didn't have a bow and arrow.
No, it did not. It did not have a bow and arrow, which is kind of cool.
Bow and arrow makes you think of Gun. That game was fun too.
Yeah, that game wasn't too bad. I haven't played that in a long time, but that game wasn't too bad either. So. Telltale Games creative communications head said that the Nintendo Switch is a perfect match for Telltale, which means we're going to bring every Telltale game we can, and backwards and forwards probably, over to the Switch and
frontward.
Yeah. You know what this story makes me think is somebody at Telltale was seeing a bunch of people out there on podcasts or Twitter or wherever social media saying, hey, Telltale Games would work good on Nintendo Switch, and somebody told this guy, hey, we should get out there and say that our games are good for Nintendo Switch. Yeah. For some PR. Well, that's about all it is.
Yeah.
Well, tell us some games that are coming then.
Well, I tell you what, if they start bringing their games out on the Switch, I will buy them on the Switch over any other system.
Oh, They will put them out because they put them on every other platform.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
would they ignore the Switch?
Yeah, so as soon as that happens,
matter
I
of
will
time.
start buying them on there because that to me is a perfect thing. Those are perfect games to play on the go, on travel. And I take my Switch on me when I'm with me when I'm on the road. So those are perfect games to play just for an hour or two, and then go to work or go to bed, and then come back to the hotel room and play for an hour or two. And those are perfect. So yeah, I'm all for it. Just please put them on cartridges. I don't want them download only. I want cart versions, physical versions of it, because I don't want to fill up my memory card. So
Yeah, that's the only bad thing about the Switch is, yeah, if you fill up one memory card and you have to swap out memory cards and all that, it's just a little bit of a pain.
yeah. Nathaniel, I know this next one probably excites you. Stardew Valley gets the thumbs up for the Switch version from Nintendo, so now we're just waiting on a official release date.
Speaking of perfect for the Switch,
Oh yeah, I cannot wait for this to come out on the Switch because I bought it on. Well, the sad thing is I bought it on PS4 digitally, and then GameStop had some kind of crazy sale on the physical version on their website that was their collection. So I bought it to have a physical version of it, which I don't even have it installed on the Xbox One. I just wanted a physical card of it. But I'm holding off to play it till it comes out on the Switch because I would rather play it on the Switch than the PlayStation 4.
I played it for probably 70, 80 hours worth of Stardew Valley on PC, and I would totally buy it again on Switch.
Oh,
That
yeah.
game is fun.
Yeah, and they're also going to add multiplayer mode, which is going to be coming in early 2018 for the systems. And I think this one's going to be. Is this
I think
game the
that's what's
first
put this back
cross
because-
platform one? In this one going to be cross play? Is that? I thought I
No
read
idea.
that somewhere, but I could be wrong.
I don't see why not, because it's not like it's a competitive thing. I just
Right.
still don't see really how multiplayer in that game would work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I see how
the world is wandering around.
Yeah. I mean, I see how it kind of could work, sort of. Like, you could plant crops a lot faster if you had more than one person doing it, but it's still, like, story-wise, it's very much like single player. So it'd be kind of like your main person, and then, oh, I have a farmhand. Maybe that's what it's going to be, but I don't know
Come
how
work my
they would
farm.
handle,
No
like,
pay.
talking to people or all that kind of stuff, how that would be handled with multiplayer. I don't know.
I don't know, but
Maybe that's why it's taken them so long figuring it out, because they've been having struggles with it, apparently. So it's cool that it's finally coming.
yeah, I'm excited. I haven't heard if it's going to be physical and digital or digital only. I haven't heard any of that. So I'm trying to look real quick and see if. I swear I thought that it said that
It
this
could
was going to
be.
be the first cross-platform game. Okay, let you marry.
Maybe.
Let you
It
marry
could
your
be something
friends.
like it could be something like Minecraft when they put it on 3DS or even Switch 2. I think that there's eventually going to be a physical version of those,
Yeah.
but it's just digital to start with.
Yeah, it says here that Stardew Valley's multiplayer will let you marry your friends in early access on Steam. So there you go. You can go off and we could get married and own a farm together. But I may have been thinking of something else that was cross-platform play. I thought that
Yeah.
was it, but I can't find anything right off the top of my
But
head.
I wonder if it's the multiplayer that's pushed it back, because when they're saying it was
be.
coming to Switch, they're going to say it's going to have the multiplayer with it, and then it's going to be a free update to the other platforms
Right.
for that. But because they said that it's going to be in the Switch, I wonder if that's what's kind of delayed it all this time. We're like, well, we don't want to put it out and then do multiplayer later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's it because everything that I've read from those guys and in articles has said that it's the multiplayer is first on Switch, so I'm guessing that's probably what's held it back. Which that's fine. I'm okay with that. So I'm in no hurry.
Yeah, it's not really a multiplayer game, but if it's like, hey, if it's something where like you have your main game and then you can have your friends come into it every once in a while, that might be cool.
Yeah, and plus if it's something that if they are going to release a physical version of it, and it's something that you don't need an update for on the Switch, that you need an update for, again, that's more free space on my memory card.
Yeah.
That's my look at it. Not that I have, not that my
Stardew
memory
Valley
card's
is not going to
eating
take up that much space, though. Anyway,
No, that's true. But I don't look at it. I make it sound like I have a small memory card in my Switch. I really don't. But at the same time, it's like I really don't want to fill it up. But it is what it is.
Well, yeah, it's also like it may be big, but we're still, not a year into the system yet, so there's
Exactly.
still plenty of time.
Yep. This next story is kind of interesting. I just kind of threw it in here because I wanted to get your guys' take on it. The Nintendo Creators Program will block YouTube live streaming. So if you are, essentially what it boils down to, if you're a member of the Nintendo Creators Program, you cannot live stream gameplay footage of Nintendo games on YouTube. And it says in their email to the Creators Program people that if you want to live stream, you need to set up another YouTube account, and you can live stream, and Nintendo's not going to bother you. You just can't do it through the Creators Program.
Well, that's just dumb because
It
you can
is
just
dumb.
do it on your main account. It's all has to do with like the creators program's all with how it's monetized,
Right.
and so Nintendo gets some of that kickback to them. But for a live stream, I don't even know if you can monetize the live stream stuff.
I
Period.
don't know,
I don't
but it says Nintendo points out that Nintendo creators are free to create a second account to live stream its games on, or otherwise remove themselves from the Creators Program and register their video games manually for review. That makes
Yeah, the creators program is a big pain in the butt. Anyway, it's sort of was started as a solution, but like a lot of YouTubers just won't do Nintendo games anymore because it's just too much of a hassle.
Yeah, it's just so weird. It was the weirdest thing I ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So it's like, yep, we will as a member of this program, you can monetize your YouTube things with using Nintendo stuff. It's fine, but don't live stream with it. We're not allowing you to live stream. If you want to live stream, go make another account and live stream through that. And I'm just like, what the crap? That
It's
doesn't even
making
make
something
any
that
sense.
was already complicated even more complicated.
Yeah.
Because there's like even certain games you could only do things like the specific guidelines wasn't even just like a general set. It's like all sorts of crazy stuff that determines whether you can make a video or not, and you can show this one is Nintendo trying to be, really, really control all of, their games and how it gets out there.
I don't
It's
even
just
understand.
one of those things that's like, guys, get with the times.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're not losing any money, and
No.
if anything, you might actually gain a little bit of money. Although with Nintendo, you already have enough PR from just yourself that you're not going to get extra exposure as
Right.
much as like a smaller company might. But
And
I don't
that
know.
was
It's
that
just-
was exactly what I was going to say. If Nintendo would just stop it, they would probably, they'd end up making a little more money than they would
yeah,
putting their boot on somebody's throat. I mean, that's a little
I
extreme.
mean, yeah,
but,
sure, people make videos and make money off of showing your games, your content, but it's them playing it, and sometimes that will get an audience to see it and say, I want to play that too, and
Well,
they'll buy
yeah,
your game.
exactly.
Some people might just be like, oh, I don't need to play this now, but I'll watch it. So that's the side that they're looking at, but they don't really look at the other side of it as much with these companies, at least with their excuses of why they do this type of stuff. It's the same stuff earlier this year with like Persona 5.
Yeah.
Where it was kind
Exactly.
of the same similar conversation was cropping up then. It's like all these companies really want to have, they still want to have control of their stuff. They don't want to lose control of it, but I don't know that live stream necessarily is losing control of it. It's just somebody playing your game, showing it to people.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. I mean, you can kind of see somewhat on the company sides too, but it's still a little bit like, yeah, but you're just making it a little too crazy, even for people who want to work with you and say, yeah, sure, like I'll monetize it under your guidelines. Just don't make them so crazy. I can't figure it out.
Yeah. I don't know. It's such a weird thing with them that I don't even begin to understand it. So, Sony doesn't plan to make a Switch competing Vita successor. There's a huge surprise, even though a lot of people saw the. I'm not surprised at all that they're not. What I find in this article hilarious is the Vita experience was that outside of Asia and Japan was not a huge demand. No, it wasn't. Because there was a lot of good there. Well, I say was. I talk about it like it doesn't exist anymore. There is.
It doesn't. Don't you know that?
It does exist. There's a lot of good games on there, but they are role-playing games. They're Japanese role-playing games, and therefore a lot of them are Japanese role-playing games, I should say, and they're for a very specific market or genre of people.
Oh yeah.
And
At a certain point, though, it's because the market it started out. And enough people in those regions bought it, and the people who like those type of games bought it, that companies saw that, and they're like, okay, we'll make more of these because these are successful here, and it just kind of fed itself, and it didn't spread out as much as some other platforms Steve.
And the other thing is you had to have their proprietary memory card, which really didn't help much things either.
Yeah.
Overpriced memory cards. So you thought they would have
Imagine
learned
that,
that
a
one.
Sony platform with proprietary memory cards.
Yeah, gee, and
Or just any console with proprietary memory cards.
yeah. Well, you would have thought they would have learned with the PSP about that, but they didn't. But I don't know. I don't see Sony making another handheld. I think the Vita is going to be their last handheld.
Yeah. Well, at least for a long time, and unless something changes, because who knows how the markets will change. Maybe people won't want to use phones anymore.
Yeah.
Something will change where they'll be like, oh, okay, we can do this now. But for now, it's like, hey, we've got the PS4. It's rolling in a bunch of money. We don't need to try and do this other thing too.
Exactly. And I mean, unless the only way I could see something like that happening is if something happens and somehow the Switch takes over the PlayStation 4, which it's not going to happen. There's too big of a lead. But I mean, that would be the only way I would see Sony going, oh my gosh, we've got to make our own hybrid console. It's got to go because, look what Nintendo did. We've come and they just crushed us, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but Sony doesn't have the properties that support that. Nintendo platforms, like the kind of games Nintendo makes, are good for a hybrid thing like that, as we've sort of seen, at least so far with the Switch. Those types of games play really well handhold and then put it onto your TV and play it that way too. Or that's, doing that something different is what Nintendo does pretty well, but just also the type of games they have work that way. Whereas with Sony, you might have a couple of franchises that might work that way, but with Sony and Microsoft, the kinds of games on their boxes, just because of the way that they've run them, is like, well, more blockbuster hardcore gaming is kind of the big thing, that you can't really do that on a hybrid console and, have it look the same, at least not with technology right now.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I thought, I thought it was interesting that Sony just came out and said, "Nah, we're not doing it." Yeah, and
I don't know. I don't want to play like Uncharted on a handheld.
I played it on a handheld. I played it on the Vita, and it was okay. It wasn't that bad.
Well, I mean, that's one made for a handheld, but like a full like Uncharted game, like Uncharted 4. If you could have played that on your TV and on a handheld, I don't think I would have enjoyed it on the handheld as much, because part of that game is all the big spectacle.
Yeah, and you kind of do that with the remote play with the Vita. And it's technically it's still the same game, but it just doesn't. You just don't get the feel. Yeah. It's more of a convenience thing than it is a way to play.
I even had that some with Zelda.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as expansive on the handheld, and still fine to play it that way, but you just can't see quite as far just because you're on a smaller screen.
Right.
And it's not like a rendered distance thing. It's just more, you're seeing less pixels on a small area physically.
Yeah.
Then if you have it on your, blown up on a screen, you just can see it feels more expansive because it is physically. Because it's on a big screen.
Exactly. So I mean it's weird, but
I'd be curious in another say 4 or 5 years, where would Nintendo do a successor to the 3DS?
Yeah,
or not?
That's what I'm wondering. Because the 3DS is getting very long in the tooth. It's been around quite a while, so it's
been 10 years, right?
It's getting close. If it's not 10, it's close.
But it's one of those things, because the Switch is a hybrid thing and has handheld sort of a feel to it, for at least some of how that's supposed to be. Is that going to change the conversation with a Nintendo of, hey, do we need to do a completely new 3DS successor, or do we just keep iterating it and put a third version that has more powerful hardware? It's the 3DS super awesome version.
The super happy awesome version.
Or do they just stop doing it and everything goes to the Switch and they just have one platform? I don't know. I don't think they would do that, because a lot of why the 3DS is so successful is the people who have them for their kids.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Switch is quite there yet. It's not quite the same thing.
No, it's not.
And I don't think it ever will be, because that's not really the audience it's going for.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not really what it was meant to do. It wasn't meant to be the full-blown handheld console. 2011 was when the 3DS launched in the U.S., March 27th, 2011. So it's been almost 7 years. It seems like a lot longer than that. It seems like I've had a 3DS for so long that
Well, it's partly because it started with the DS, and because that kind of the way the mechanical of the system is not really changed. Like the shapes change a little bit, but you still have the two screens and all that is very similar, so it feels a whole lot longer.
Yeah, let's see. I know the DS has been. I just want to see when the DS launch was. Good old Wikipedia.
Good old Wikipedia. Show me what I need. Yes, John.
2004 was when the DS launched. So
Yeah.
So that's a long time that kind of
Maybe that's what we'll have. See, we've had the DS, the DS2, aka Lite,
yeah.
and then we have the 3DS.
DS2.
How about we get a 4DS? And I don't know what the gimmick for that would be, but
Yeah, I don't either, but
how do we get a fourth dimension in here? You can like rewind every game. You can rewind. Whoa.
3DS with smell-o-vision. Oh wait.
Well, I mean, if anyone's going to do a gimmick like that, it'd be Nintendo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It absolutely would.
Television.
We have the
That'd be
best
funny.
smelling games on the market.
When you're out and playing Zelda, you're going to smell sweaty and hot because you're out.
Why does Mario smell better than Luigi? Find out.
And last but not least in the news, Atari Box will be a full PC experience for the TV. I have to ask before I say anything.
No, it won't, and who cares?
cares?
Who wants this thing?
Exactly. Who cares? So the Atari Box is going to launch in late spring of 2018 for somewhere around $250 to $300. It's going to be a full PC experience for the TV to bring streaming, applications, social, browsing, music, and more. It's going to have a custom AMD processor with Radeon graphics. It will support preloaded retro Atari games as well as current titles from a range of studios.
They're doing a whole lot with this of saying a whole bunch of things that mean nothing. Like, what can I actually play on it? I don't know.
It's gonna be amazing.
I mean,
And it's going to launch in late spring, but then they're saying later on in this article that it's going to be, crowdfunded.
Yep, it is going to be
How does that
crowdfunded.
even work? You haven't started crowdfunding this yet, and it's going to come out in the spring?
Yeah.
Then what do you need crowdfunding for?
And yeah, they're doing. I think they're going Indiegogo for this one. Is what they're doing. Last I heard, Indiegogo campaign will kick off in the coming months. This sounds to me like a company who bought the rights to Atari. They wanted to make a PC streaming box, and all it is just almost an Android-based. Well, it's not really Android-based, but it's just a small PC, like a Steam PC, one of those small ones with the Atari label slapped on it and preloaded with some Atari games. And
Yeah, because what do you mean by full PC experience? Does that just mean literally that, on a PC I can stream stuff and run social media and do some web browsing and listen to music? Or you actually mean literally that you can do PC stuff, like you could load Steam on here, or you could run it?
yeah,
That doesn't mean anything. It just sounds like a bullet point for the back of a box, but we still don't know what we're actually going to be able to do with this thing. And it's supposedly about 8 months away, maybe?
it was apparently,
supposedly.
I don't know.
I mean, the one good thing I'll say is the box looks all right.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's very cool. Made, it's wood grain, looks like old Atari.
It looks like Atari hardware,
Yeah.
but a weird little tiny thing. Okay, sure, but how do we interact with it? We don't know what controller it's going to have. Does it use a controller, or do you have to do keyboard and mouse like
Or
the
does it do
fullest
both?
PC experience?
I don't know. It's
We know nothing about it, and there's no reason why anyone should be interested in it yet. And it's tell us what we could do with it, not just a general thing, but specific.
The question is, do we need it? Do we? Is it
No.
is it something that anybody needs? And that's a good question that I haven't been able to. I haven't really looked at anything, but you remember when the Steam machines came out, the small PCs? Do those things even sell? Are those any good? Do people even use those things now?
Well, I mean, those aren't even.
I was thinking the Steam box.
Not
Steam
the stream thing. I'm talking about those small.
You're talking about the dedicated,
those small, like those Alienware mini computers.
Like the size of a VCR.
Those things are weird because it was not any one person making it. It's always just more marketing type thing of we'll give a name to this and we'll have some sort of different guidelines for it, but all of the different PC manufacturers Dell or anyone can make one of these or more than one of these things and sell them, and it kind of just went, didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and that's what this feels like to me. It feels like to
Yeah.
me that it's the same thing. They're just slapping a Atari look and the Atari logo on it and say, "Here you go." And genuinely,
To me, what this sounds
is a
like
PC.
is somebody wanted to make an Atari classic, but then jam a bunch of other crap into it that nobody wants. And sell it for $250, $300 instead of $50 to $80.
Spinner's absolutely right. All you need is a Raspberry Pi if you want to do retro stuff. That's all
Yeah.
you need. If you're not interested in buying physical cartridges or discs or anything like that, and you just want to play it on your high definition TV, download some ROMs, get a Raspberry Pi, and do it that way. I mean,
Yeah, well, that's too involved for some people, so that's why stuff like the
I
NES
guess.
and SNES Classic exists. But that's not what this is either. So it's
No,
like, who is this even for?
I don't understand what it's about. I don't understand who it's for. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I never will. Because at this point, they keep sending me PR emails going, "Here's the latest news," and it's nothing. There, I was like, "There is no news. You're not giving me any information."
With all the news so far, it adds up to maybe you could write a small story on it, like this one that we have on IGN, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what the prototype looks like, the box anyway, and you know that it has a full PC experience, and that's it.
Whatever
it's
that
be crowdfunded. Yay! I really care about it enough to crowdfund it when I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
It's hard enough for me to even consider crowdfunding a video game, let alone anything that has to do with hardware.
Yeah.
And that's when they've laid out everything ad nauseum and have tons of info out there. And here's where we started. This is what we've got now. This is our plan. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna add if we get all these goals. All that stuff. You're not gonna get me interested if it's just like, hey, I got this box.
Yeah.
So you want to give me money for it?
Yeah. There's two things I've crowdfunded. One is, of course, Shenmue 3 because it was Shenmue and I'm a nut. The second one was...
The second part was the more important one, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Anyway, and the second one was the N64 retro controller, the new, that looks like an Xbox controller, but it works on the N64. And the only reason I did that one was because I hate the N64 controller. I want something that's more like a real controller for it. So,
Yep.
you really got to have a really good sell for me to fund something like that. There's a lot of books and stuff on Kickstarter and stuff that I would like to support, but I usually don't because they end up sending me review copies anyway. So it's like, I'll throw some money your way, but you're going to send it to me. So, why would I do that? But
I don't know, to support them.
I
Come
know.
on, John.
Hey, I give them free advertisement. What do they want? What else do they want? But
They want you to pay for it because they probably get more from that than
they
free
probably
advertisement,
would.
John.
Yeah, it could be. But
You're so mean.
I know I am, but it's stuff like I will not do systems. There's been too many horror stories that I've seen people support Indiegogo and stuff like that with systems, and then they come out and then they get their system in, and it's just garbage. It's just garbage.
Well, I would guess what the most successful systems out of crowdfunding would probably be maybe, wasn't the Retron crowdfunded? Or not, but at least the Ouya, and when the Ouya is
Ouya was.
poster child for success, that's not saying much.
No, it's not. It's really not. One question out of the chat room, Spinner asked if, since with Hugh Hefner's passing, has anybody played Playboy Mansion game?
I didn't even know there was a Playboy Mansion game.
I remember it. I remember it when I worked at GameStop. It came out, and I do remember it. I never played it. I don't even know exactly what it's like. Have you played it, Eric?
What even system is
I
that
have
on?
not actually.
It was
PS2,
I know it was on PS2.
Xbox?
And Xbox,
PC?
original Xbox, it's probably on PC too. Let's see. Let me look real quick, because I always just assumed
No idea.
it was like The Sims, but Playboy Mansion. But set
See,
in the
that would
Playboy
make
Mansion.
way more sense nowadays. It's like, hey, get the Playboy expansion to The Sims or something, but EA would never do that.
Yeah, it was on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Windows. It came out in January 2005. And the player plays the role of Hugh Hefner, the founder of Playboy. The game aims to build the famed Playboy empire from scratch, starting from its humble magazines to celebrity endorsements. So it sounds like a...
Well, what are you even doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I could go on in. Apparently there was even an expansion for it called the Private Party Expansion Pack. So, yeah, it actually rated
Weird.
Okay. It's in the 60s.
Yeah, so that's
Well, it probably means it doesn't have too many bugs and it kind of works. But
yeah.
Other than that,
I remember when it came out. Because like I said, I was working at GameStop when it came out. We all kind of went Playboy and went on with it. We didn't really play it or anything like that. So I have no idea. So no Spinner. Unfortunately, I have never played. We've never played it. So unfortunately, but I think it's.
No nudity?
I don't know if it did or not. I have no idea. I would have to look up some videos of it to find out.
Certainly not what you would expect from Playboy. Otherwise, it would have the AO rating or whatever.
Yeah, it's only an M rating.
Most games don't have it.
Yeah, I mean it was only an M rating, so I'm guessing not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a clue.
It might have a little bit here or there or something, but yeah, probably not much. But yeah, like never played it. Don't care to play it.
No,
doesn't seem like it would be an interesting game.
I know from working in a retro shop, it still held its value. I mean, I think it was selling for $40-$50 at the shop that I worked at. So I mean, that's still pretty good for a PS2 game.
Maybe that's more brand name than anything.
Could be. I mean, but for a PS2 game, that's pretty good. Unless most PS2 games at that price are role playing games or whatever. To find a strange.
But maybe it's one of those things like a odd sort of niche game.
Could be just like an odd game that
Yeah.
And, oh yeah, I knew Mafia 3 had the Playboys with the real cover Playboys. I found all those in one of the playthroughs.
Yeah, but it's only just the covers,
yeah,
right?
it's just
Mafia
the covers.
2.
Yeah,
I think Mafia 3 had way more.
Yeah, it was Mafia 2 that I found them all. Mafia 3 had way more of them. But I played Mafia 2 like it was nobody's business. I played that game through 3 or 4 times. I loved that game.
Good game.
Didn't like 3 as well as I like 2 though. So, all right, let me stop the recording here.